Hey guys, for my theory, I chose to do the labeling theory. And what experts in this field argue is that labeling, reacting to offenders as criminals, has negative effects. They argue that it can lead to making the offender's behavior worse. They say that it can lead to them committing more severe crimes as a result of it. Theories also argue that the criminal justice system is at blame for this also because the way it is structured, it makes minor offenders, it turns minor offenders into lifelong criminals. And also, not just the criminal justice system, but how society reacts to them has an impact on creating lifelong offenders. Frank Tenenbaum, one of the leading experts in this field, he approaches the labeling theory from a concept which he calls the dramatization of evil. In this concept, Tenenbaum argues that tagging, identifying, defining, and segregating individuals for their crime arouses the trait which is disliked in the first place in society. Essentially, what Tenenbaum is arguing is that, or stating is that a person essentially becomes the thing that they describe as being. Because when the criminal justice system as well as society labels a person as a criminal, they're bound to act like a criminal. They're bound to commit crime. They're bound to rob people. They're bound to commit all sorts of crimes because they've been put on that level of a criminal, put on that status as a criminal. And another well-known expert in this field is Liemert. He was the founder of the approach to labeling theory referred to as societal reaction. And in this approach, Liemert explained his theory using two fundamental concepts. The primary deviant, which is a primary deviant, and a secondary deviant. A primary deviant is an individual that do not regard themselves as a criminal. You know, is a normal guy like doing. A secondary deviant is an individual who has accepted the title of a criminal and commits crime on a daily basis. Charles Liemert argues that secondary deviance becomes a means of defense, attack, or adaptation to problems caused by social reaction to primary deviance. So what he is arguing is that a person goes from a primary deviant to a secondary deviant after society has labeled them and segregated them to the point where they have no choice but to accept the identity or the status of a criminal, and therefore began to commit more crimes as a result of it. And last but not least, Howard Becker, the founder of the theory, he basically argues that being a criminal or being labeled as a criminal pretty much takes over your entire life completely. You lose control of your life because you gain this master status, which is the term he uses, master status, which completely takes over all the other statuses which you have. If you were a doctor, if you were a officer, you were whatever career, whatever job you had before, or whatever title you had, is now gone, and now you're looked at by society as a criminal. So now your title is a criminal, and when that happens, you essentially tag along with other individuals that have been labeled master criminals, and you begin to commit more crime. The the theory the theory does make sense, and it is seen in the criminal justice system. You know, we've all experienced it. However, in terms of whether or not it is falsifiable, I would have to say that it's not, because there hasn't been any physical studies done which we could we could look at and determine whether or not the study, I mean the theory is falsifiable.